And here is where everything starts going weird again. My opponent picks the eco card and instantly uses a bit of it, at least. Meanwhile, I take the mass-produced Wraith. This is... my plan is now to basically copy something that I had been absolutely destroyed by at some stage. And that was basically just armored Wraiths and Wasps. I think it was Illuminati or Skay or someone like that, some really good player in a tournament who absolutely positively wrecked me hard by using basically just armored Wraiths and Wasps as carry, or well, both of these units as carry, I guess. We do have finally something against those hounds. They will take considerably more time to punch through here. We do get some kills on units here, but all in all you can see that this isn't worth it. Kinda sucks that we do not have the ability to break that before all of the Wasps are gone. But at the same time, those can't really do much to my units here. Because this is absorbing 120 damage, and there is legitimately nothing on the board that does this much. So they take effectively no damage. With the Phoenixes as damage, the Wasps kinda as chaff here, and the Wraiths just invulnerable, basically. This round just turns around and ends up being a massive win for me, as those hounds are just stuck. We even have a Typhoon here that survived the hacker and everything. Hacker got killed by the Wraith. We do get some interesting stuff here. Advanced targeting system, and I choose the Rhino drop. I don't see myself winning this in the long run. I've gotta close it out relatively quickly here. We have a Melter, and that of course is going to absolutely eviscerate the Wraith if it ever gets to shoot at it. So right now my opponent has kinda abandoned the hackers. They still exist, but they're definitely not the stars of the show. I am selling out of Scorpions, and also the Typhoons are getting sold. I sold this Scorpion last round, I think. But I am kinda preparing to go for more Waspage. And why don't we just go and add a bunch more armored Wraiths? Now 2 Melters can basically ward off a nigh infinite amount of armored Wraiths. However, only if they get to shoot at them. And right now, they don't. A Rhino also tanked a bunch of stuff. And we do get to attack this tower. But the Wasps are getting few and far between, let's be honest. We need this arc to die so the crawlers can start be additional chaff, although I guess it's good. Rhino kills Melter. Rare, but always welcome. However, this Melter Mustang Ball is kinda scary. And the hacker can easily get the Rhino, which means we do not get much of anything here. The tower kill from the Mustangs is just the final nail in that coffin, and yeah, you can see this one was not turning out in our favor. We can't have a concentrated wall of Melter Stang existing here. Here comes the evil unit, Vulcans. I honestly do not know what Vulcans do in this game, but apparently they now exist. 2 Vulcans that are definitely able to eat away all the crawlers. I guess that's his thought. I honestly would say just put range on the Arclights or something. Meanwhile, we are going into EMP on the Wasps. It is very cheap, only 100 cost. And it can disable range on these units. And potentially other attacks, like I could definitely see somebody going into energy diffraction against some unit comp that is Wasps and Wraiths. I am banking on the Wasps doing something, so we are going all out, temp range as well, and the Wasps are coming in from basically everywhere. These Mustangs will lock onto the Wraith here, but this Melter will lock onto the Wasps here, so that is kind of just the perfect match for my units. And we do also have these Storms from the drop. I picked those up instead of Vulcans, of course. Not that I necessarily would have wanted Vulcans in this, but I guess Warcrime Vulcans can do a good amount of stuff. So now this is locked on. One of the Wraiths dies, but there's a backup Wraith just around the corner. Melter has gotten defeated. And we are definitely putting the hurt on the tower. This Phoenix is getting destroyed by the Melter, but it's taking an absurd amount of time, basically. And the Stormcallers are hitting hard. They are destroying these poor Mustangs. Poor little Mustangs. And now they are destroying the Giants. As much as the last round was not moving in our favor, this round definitely is. But it's not over yet. I think at least. I honestly don't remember how long it took. Yeah, definitely not over yet. There still is at least one more round in the tank. We do get a lightning storm, laser sights, efficient light, but it's pretty late for that. Photon, but what for? Those lightning strikes can definitely do some damage, and I have purely exposed air units. However, my advantage is that they are kinda everywhere, and there's not all that much that he can hit at once. Underground threat is going to keep these units a tiny bit more alive, hopefully. And my opponent is preparing a, I would say, basically finisher. Breaking this tower very quickly is going to be possible for him. I do drop a unit that is hopefully able to deal with just about anything. He repositioned these Mustangs because they weren't doing much last round. Shields up. And we will see what happens in this round. So what do I decide to invest into? I think I invested into more and more Stormcaller. Because at the end of the day, those things I can definitely put the hurt on the Mustangs. A shield here, and then the Stormcallers in a very offensive position. And we'll see what happens here. Now, some of these Mustangs are probably going to target Wasps, but it shouldn't be all that long before they are stuck on some sledges. And the Melter, of course, instantly stuck on sledges. That chunks into the Wasps, unfortunately, but this one can do so much damage. Ouch, that was a lot of Mustangs that died very quickly here. And meanwhile, the Stormcallers are definitely hitting hard. However, my tower is also getting hit pretty hard. Harder than his tower here. However, there kinda is not really all that much left if we look at the board in this state. We do have these balls from behind, which is kinda annoying, but I have both towers, and I have Phoenixes moving in. There still is some Wasps left, and those can deal with the Mustangs. And now there is only a bunch of Bulls and Hounds left, and the Phoenixes and Wasps can easily deal with all of that. Is that game? Looks like it is. That is game. Alright, so here's the strategy that my first attempt at a strategy that I got absolutely destroyed by a good amount of time ago in probably a 2v2 tournament. Have the armored wraiths, have the wasps, and go kill him. It even beats apparently like a weird combination of Mustangs, Melters, Vulcans, and Hackers. I'd say this is mostly Mustang Melter Stang, but we do have some decently leveled and itemed up Hackers, or we could have at least. They just kinda had nothing else to do. I honestly think he should have sold them. It was relatively easy for me to sell out of the army that was vulnerable to the Hackers and transition into an army that was just flying around. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, I have to say. That definitely was a lot of fun. So, I hope you had a lot of fun as well. Thanks everybody for watching, listening, and I hope to see you again next time. Until then, bye!